and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be super deep. It's going to be a whole talk about relationships. It's crazy to see what other people go through too, because I've had my own past experiences with relationships. One in particular that was very serious to me. I don't like to get too much into my private life because it's very private and it's very personal. I think I just want to go a little bit more in depth because I think that sometimes sharing your story can help other people too. I am currently single. My most serious relationship was a 4.5-year relationship that I had a while back. I kind of briefly mentioned in my last Q&A what sort of happened. I decided that I'm going to kind of open up a little bit more to you guys, and hopefully some of you can relate to it as well, especially women. So none of you know, but I was engaged. It was my most serious relationship that I had ever been in. It was very serious to me, and I think I mentioned before how I was just so focused on, having a family, having a home, and doing what you're supposed to do. I was in my early 20s and I felt pressured to be in this certain lifestyle. Especially as a woman, you feel like the next thing to do is to get married, and then you feel like after you got married, you have to have children. That's what you just feel that you have to do. It's just something that I was definitely raised with too, you know what I mean? You're supposed to get married and have kids. But that's not everybody's life story. I can see myself obviously working from home, being a housewife, taking care of my children in the future, but it just wasn't the right time for me. So the reason why it ended was because he was in a certain career that just wasn't going to line up with the lifestyle that I was envisioning myself after being married. It wasn't a lifestyle that he was living before. It really changed, and it took a massive turn where I was like, I can't do this. He was in the music industry. It just did not fit the lifestyle that I was imagining. I was not a fan of the things that were going on. I was not a fan of the late nights. I was not a fan of certain things he was around. If the person is around something that you don't like right now and you think it's going to change after you get married, it's not going to change. At one point it seemed like we were on the same page, but when a couple is just not willing to meet in the middle and compromise, it's not going to work. It can't, because being together is a partnership, and at the end of the day, my grandma's always told me, when you marry someone, you're no longer Steph and that person. You're one. You're together. Why be together if you guys are not a unit to begin with? I just never felt one with him. I was definitely not the most supportive with his career. I was in the beginning. In the beginning, there's certain stuff that wasn't going on, but afterwards there was. No, I'm not going to be supportive of something that I don't respect and I don't agree with. If you ask me today if I want to be married at this point in time, no, I'm good. I'm fine the way I am now. One thing I definitely learned from my relationship, I've learned a couple lessons from that relationship. For me, family is very important. When I'm with somebody, I need to be able to get along with your family. I didn't get along with his family. Till this day, don't understand why. I think I would constantly question myself and say, are you okay with that? Like, when you have children and you don't really get along with his family, are you going to be okay with that? So settling again. I don't know why they didn't really like me. I would always have like family events and stuff, and he just would never show up. I can't have that. Like, as a woman, I want my man to be there by my side. If I have an event and we have pre-planned it, I have asked you to be there, and you didn't show up, what makes me think that you're gonna show up for other things? And I just didn't get that support, and at the end of the day, if you don't support your relationship and you're not there for her, you can't expect the support back. That's not gonna make me go, yeah, honey. I talked a little bit about settling in my last video. Settling is something I definitely did throughout this entire. Settle should be the theme word of this relationship. I settled a ton. You know what else I did? I waited. I was left there to wait for an hour or 2 hours to be picked up all the time. Was disappointed a lot. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't always this non-supportive girlfriend. Like, I was super supportive. I would go to events that I was not comfortable being there. See, I was settling. If you're not comfortable in a situation, why are you even there? Just because of him? No, he needs to make you feel comfortable about going, or you just don't go. I did it anyways to support him. Now, in relationships, you definitely need to. There's so much compromise. You're gonna have to go to things that you may not want to go to, but you have to go to them because you have to make that person happy. But here's the thing, if that person doesn't do it back for you, that's where the problem is. These events were at clubs. and I'm just not comfortable in that environment. When I need you at a family event, can you not show up? There's a give and take here in a relationship. But at the end of the day, I was so uncomfortable being at these things that it's not right. You have to eventually question yourself, okay, if I'm this uncomfortable but he's completely fine here and this is what I gotta do, like you have to kind of think if this is what you really want to do. It was constantly late, and I think that that's just it's so disrespectful. It just shows your woman, she's not a priority. She's not important. I was definitely blind at the time. Like every time it came to picking me up, it was like waiting. Make your woman feel important. I will say at the end of the day, he's a good person, but just not the person for me. You're probably wondering how, like, what did you guys enjoy? This is another important thing I really want to talk about because this happens to me when I get into relationships. Being a Pisces, we're so, like, we put our heart and soul into everything, especially relationships. And relationships, we feel like we gotta literally rip out our heart and just hand it to you. Don't do that, ladies. Big mistake. I felt like I had to take care of him. He didn't ask me to do any of these things, but I felt like I had to take care of him, feed him, you know, make sure he was clothed. But that was me. That was me wanting to do it. Towards the end of the relationship, I'd say like the last year or so, I don't know if it's because I started to really feel like I was almost going to give up at some point, or I was ignoring so many things that were telling me like, this is not going to work out. This is not going to work out. Like, I hope you know I had that voice in my mind, but I kept pushing through. You know, I still got engaged. I was still trying to slowly plan for a wedding. The funny thing about that, actually, you guys know me, super corny, right? I would get super excited about having a wedding. Imagine if I was engaged right now. I would be planning my wedding to the T. I would be going over there, shopping for this, shopping for that. I wasn't doing that. That's how I knew. That's how I knew that this was wrong. I probably bought maybe 2 or 3 things. Like when I first got engaged, I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, here's the planning, because you're excited, right? Like you have that high, you know, so you're so excited. And then as the weeks went on, you're still supposed to get very, very excited. I was no longer excited. I was like, okay, like what am I doing? Like something is not right here. Coming to terms with the fact that it was going to be over soon was too much for me to swallow. That's the truth. You had to swallow that a 4.5-year relationship was going down and nowhere. That was scary. Nobody wants to be alone. That was my fear. I can tell you guys right now, that was my honest fear of being alone. But I said to myself, okay, so you have 2 options. So option A was saying to me, you're not in a situation where you're happy. You're in a situation where you're settling. You're in a situation where you're about to get engaged to someone where you know it's not right. That was option A. So I could have stayed for that. It would have been a fun show, let me tell you. Option B, you can live your life. You can stop settling. You can do what makes you happy. And you can finally find somebody who actually makes you happy. One of you reached out to me and you asked me your question, but you also told me about your story. That's what really made me feel like, okay, I think I should just kind of talk about my story a little bit, because I knew it would sort of help this person. She shared with me that she was engaged too, and that she was in a very serious relationship, and she didn't know how she was gonna get over it. And for her, it was very fresh. So it kind of brought me back to that time where it was very fresh for me too. A lot of you are probably wondering, okay, well, you were in a 4.5-year relationship, you were engaged, you split up, where do you go from there? You know, like, how did you deal with that? I'm not gonna sit here and be like it was easy, because it was not. Like I said, I'm very passionate. I'm a Pisces, we're very loving, we're very emotional, so it was definitely very emotional for me. Funny enough, what got me through, to be honest with you, was constantly reminding myself of why. I think that with anything in life, when it gets hard, you have to remind yourself of that number 1 step that you took and why you took it. For me, what got me through this was reminding myself of day 1 of the breakup. Why did I make that decision? I made that decision because I was settling. I made the decision because I was unhappy. This person was not the person for me. I was like, Steph, you just gotta push through this. Like, I know it's painful. I know you were with this person for 4.5 years. And believe me, you go through a stage where you're like, yeah, but what if, you know, like maybe I could have worked it out. And then you start to blame yourself. At the end of the day, the fact is, you and him don't work. And if I knew that in my heart, I had to keep reminding my mind of that. Whether I was in my car, I was at home, I was in my bedroom. If I had, you know, that feeling of hurt and I would think about my breakup, I would say to myself, but Steph, you were unhappy. You were unhappy. And you have to just remind yourself of that. The hurt from the breakup is you just missing having someone. You just miss not being alone. You just miss not being in a relationship. You miss all the good memories because nobody wants to forget the good stuff, right? Everybody wants to remember, oh, but there was that time. Yeah, but do you remember all the other 20,000 times where you were like crying and you were very unhappy? And you have to think of your breakup as a positive thing. As hard as it may be, you have to make it positive. For me, my positivity was, number one, you can focus on yourself because I completely lost myself, you guys. You know, being a Pisces, we completely lose ourselves in relationships. We just give our entire selves to you guys and we just let go of our entire self. I was so excited to just start a new chapter of figuring out myself. I was so excited to just focus on me and what I need to do and what makes me happy. And I felt like being in that relationship, it just sucked the life out of me and I completely lost myself. I don't think that there's any relationship in the world that you should ever completely lose yourself. You can't. You just cannot. And I did. I lost my entire self. I had nothing going on for me, like nothing at all. And I'll never forget one time he said that. You just don't understand because you don't have anything that's yours. And what he meant by that is you don't really have anything going on for you like I do. I think I was talking about how like he was never there and stuff like that. And he's like, well, you don't understand because you don't have something going on for you. Even if I had something going on for me, I would be there when you needed me. You should always be there no matter what. God, I've heard so many excuses. When he said that, I was like, I don't have anything going on for me. And why? Why don't I have anything? Because I'm so focused on you. Like I'm so focused on this partnership, this relationship. I do not give up when it comes to a relationship. And I definitely think that it just came to a point where I'm like, okay, Steph, like I know you don't like to give up, but there's nothing else here for you. There's just nothing else. Towards the end, it was just bad. He had fully clocked out. And I don't clock out in a relationship. I just don't because like I said, I don't give up. I want to fix things. But he was just very absent. He was very drifted. There was this massive gap between us, this massive gap. And I would look down at my engagement ring and I would just be like, no. I'm so glad that I made sense of everything instead of being so gullible and in denial and just going along with it. Like I had enough. I couldn't do it anymore. Overall, I don't wish anything bad upon anybody, nor do I wish anything bad upon him at all. It was definitely a rocky road, but let me tell you, there was so many things where I should have just said no. Like all the times that he made me wait, I should have been like, then I can't go. Like, see you later. I'm going somewhere else, you know? I should have stood up as a woman for myself, and I didn't. I didn't over and over and over and over again. Nobody comes to my doorstep late anymore. Nobody ever will ever again. I mean, everything is in the past. I've learned so much from it. So yeah, that's just my long story short. I mean, I made it through. I'm very, very proud of myself. I got a ton of support when it ended. I'm very proud of myself, and I think you have to pat yourself on the back every once in a while and tell yourself you made it through this, you know, like you are tough. I can't really say that I don't have something going on for me now. I have 12K on Instagram, I almost have 10K on YouTube, and I have you beautiful people supporting me. Don't ever let someone, especially the person that you're with, ever tell you that you are less of what you are. Okay, so now we're going to get started with the questions. I'm super excited. I read some of the questions, but I didn't want to read the whole thing because I wanted it to kind of be a surprise. I love answering questions, you guys. Okay, so this first question says, what's your biggest deal breaker in a relationship? Thoughts on interracial dating in today's society, and would you rather find someone from online dating or in person first? Biggest deal breaker. Definitely think someone who's just not going to be there, someone that's not dependable. Like if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, I have a big problem with that. It just doesn't make me feel like you're committed to us, and it also makes me feel like you're kind of a liar in a way. I've been in a relationship with different races before. My experience with it, I got a lot of people staring at us. Relationships should not have color. Let me read the date to you. It's February 2018. It's an interracial couple, get over it. I hate that there's even a word called interracial dating. Do we say interracial friendships? This is nothing like towards you, the person who's asking this question, like nothing negative at all. It's a good question. I've tried the online dating thing, just to set the record straight. I've tried it. What I got from it was like there were all a bunch of talk and just that's about it. I didn't know it. No, it's not good. I'm just gonna leave the internet for me watching Netflix, doing YouTube, and doing my stuff. But other than that, there won't be any dating online for me. I'm so shy, you guys. Not a normal shy, I'm painfully shy. Definitely think in person is just better because you just get a feel of what that person's like. You get a feel for their personality. And I'm very good with feeling off people's energy. Like I've just always had that. So I definitely would prefer to meeting someone in person rather than the internet. What was the longest relationship you've been in and why did it end? So it was the 4.5-year relationship that I just spoke about. Have you ever gotten catfished? No, thank God I've never gotten catfished. I think that stuff is so creepy. Like I watched that show Catfish and oh my God, it gets me every single time. What zodiac signs are you most compatible with? I love this question because I love zodiac signs. The first one is Cancer. Very, very compatible. We're both very like mushy-gushy and emotional, and loyalty is very important to them. Both very much homebodies. And we just like, Cancers just love having someone. They love having someone to just cuddle with and be their best friends. The other sign that they say that I'm very compatible with, but I've never dated this sign before, is a Capricorn. Capricorn's very down to earth. They're an earth sign. Everything has to be perfect and they have to have the best of the best. Very particular people. They like their nice things. Capricorns are a little bit like too cool for school. You know, they have this like swagger about them, you know. But I think that's what kind of attracts women to them. The other sign that I'm very compatible with is a Taurus. I love Taurus guys. I don't know what it is. I'm extremely attracted to them. A real mature Taurus guy that's just so sure of himself is just so attractive to me. They're also earth signs, so they're very down to earth. They are extreme homebodies. Tauruses are the most loyal sign. They're family men, like they love their family. And now that I've talked 5 minutes about Tauruses, you guys know my favorite guy sign now. If a guy you've been talking to on and off for a year has been wanting to get serious with you, but didn't really want to at the time, and now he has a full-time job and he tells you he's busy all the time and doesn't really make time for you, but says let's be friends in the meantime and then I'll come for you. I'll come for you when I'm ready. Whoa, am I in the Twilight Zone? What should I do? Do you think it's genuine? You can't be that busy, right? You got it, girl. You can't be that busy. When a guy truly likes you, he's not going to be busy for you. He will make time for you. There's never too busy. Like, please, I've heard this so many times in my relationship. I think it's the most washed out excuse I've ever heard in my entire life. The fact that he said, I will come for you when I'm ready. No, 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 no. You do not want someone like this in your life telling you that they're gonna come for you when they're ready for you. What does that even mean? No bueno. I can't believe this guy. For him to say that he has a full-time job and he's too busy, all of us have jobs. You don't need to be enough for somebody like this. When he calls for you, you tell him, estoy ocupada, yo no tengo tiempo para ti. Okay, I'm sorry, that was Spanish. Tell him that you don't have time for him and that you're too busy for him. Did you have to deal with running into your ex? My ex actually lives very, very close to me. I don't know if he's still there or if he's not. I really don't care. It's not that we will never run into each other. There's always the chance that we can run into each other for sure. I have not run into him once. If so, how did you deal with it? So just be like, but I wouldn't be like, hey, how's it going? I actually only have one ex that I still talk to. You still might have a chance. I don't know if that was a good wink or not, but I tried. At some point in the future, I'm going to run into my ex-fiance. My cousin married his cousin years ago and have kids. So of course our families are connected. Any advice on how you would deal with that? If I was in that position where I knew I was going to run into him, to be honest with you, the best thing you can do is be civil, but I also would keep your distance. Like, don't make him think Like, don't give him signs that like something's gonna come out from this again. If you see him, just be like, oh hey, you know, if you guys are on good terms. If you guys are not, I still don't recommend being rude because it's never gonna get you anywhere. Being civil because your families are connected is probably the best route. At a wedding and you walk in and he's like right there, I'd be like, hey, and I would walk away. Like, that's exactly, I'm being honest with you, this is exactly what I would do. I would just be like, hey, I look cute, you know, wish you had this still. I've been in a situation with someone I've known for 5 or 6 years, and every time we try to make things work, it never does. I feel like we both try so hard to make it work, but we're on 2 completely different ways of thinking. And I don't know if I see us making it in the long run. That being said, I really wish it could work. But I think it might be time to just come to terms with the situation and stop holding on to something that isn't good for us. He's a great person, but we're just so different. How do you have this conversation with someone? Since you guys have been around each other for 5 or 6 years, it sounds like you guys are the 2 best friends that don't know if you guys should like make a relationship out of it. When you're friends and you're very different, I think it can still work because you guys still have your separate lives. But when you are trying to come as one in a relationship and you're so different, if the person's not willing to come meet you in the middle, and you as well, like both of you have to meet in the middle, if you guys are just not willing to do that, then I do think that you have to give up on the idea of having a relationship. You don't want to also lose this person. You clearly really enjoy having this person around you because you did say that you really wish it could work. You do love this person, but maybe this person just has to be something else in your life and not really a boyfriend. That's a very, very long time, and if something were supposed to happen, I think it would have already happened already. I would honestly sit that person down and be like, listen, we've known each other for 5 or 6 years. You know, I've been trying to, I don't know if you've been trying, but I've been trying to see if we can make this work, and I feel like it's just not lining up because of this and this and this and this. I feel like we're just too different. Ask the other person how they feel. I think that if you do not speak and you don't use your words to communicate with the person, then you're going to end up going like 7, 8 years wondering why. I think you need to just chat it out with him and just really get it all out. And he needs to give back to you and tell you how he feels about the situation. And I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to figure it out because it sounds like you guys care about each other, but maybe you just can't make a relationship work. Hey Steph, I'm going through something with my boyfriend. I've been with him for 2 years, and overall I'm hurt of how he's been treating me. He gets annoyed and upset with me easily. I'm extremely sensitive and a crier. I don't know what to do and if I should talk to him about how I feel. I feel like he's being distant and not acting like my best friend anymore. I'm scared to talk to him and make things turn bad. I cared for him while he was on chemo, but I don't want to be with someone just because they know I'll be there for them always. I love you, Steph. Oh, thank you. I know the whole distant feel. It is the worst. It makes women feel so insecure because we're just like, why are you being distant? Do you not love me anymore? Do you not care anymore? If he's getting very annoyed with you and he's being distant, to be honest with you, the best thing to do is talk to him. Guys are different than us. You know, women, we're very passionate. We think we can just come out and like yell it out, but you can't do that. I would tell him we need to set a time to talk about this. And he needs to make the time. If you're important to him, he will make the time to talk about it. And I think you need to come at him just very calmly. He may be going through something. Maybe that's why he's being distant. I find with men, when they're going through something or their mind is on something, they can be extremely distant. He could be going through something else that he hasn't opened up to you about. But I think that communication is always the answer to everything especially when you're having a problem in a relationship. Tell him, you know, I feel like you've been distant. I feel like you've been acting like this, and this is how it makes me feel. And just try to say it very calmly, because with guys, you really need to like spell it out for them and really give it to them. And if you just like keep acting sensitive and upset and stuff like that, it's not going to help the situation. Tell him that you feel like that you guys are not best friends anymore, and ask him if there's something that you can help him with, if there's something that he's going through. But I think that without communicating, you're always going to be left in the dark not knowing what's going on. I was best friends with this girl for 4 years, but throughout that time, she was really mean to me and manipulated me so much, so I finally decided to no longer be friends with her. It was a true hard breakup. 3 years later, we obviously still don't talk, but I still think about her and all the good memories we have had together. But then I remind myself of what a bad person she was to me. It's like I just can't forget about her as much as I am trying to. Any advice on how to get closure with someone mentally? You are so inspiring and motivating. Love you so much. Oh, thank you. I think just like what I went through, I think you need to, again, remind yourself of all the things. I mean, you might just also be feeling lonely, and you might like subconsciously just want to have that person around in your life so that you're not alone anymore. And of course, it's comforting, but you have to remind yourself of all the things that she's put you through. You said she was very manipulative. You said she was very rude to you, very mean to you. And no friend should ever be that. And if you feel like you can't, after so many years, forget about her, I think that that's just your way of not being able to let go, because you might have really liked her, but you just didn't like how she was to you. It's unfortunate. Sometimes you want something, but that person doesn't want it back. I think mentally the best thing you can do is just remind yourself of why you ended the friendship in the beginning. It sounds like you're a very dedicated friend. You need to remind yourself that you deserve a better friend that's not going to do what you did to you. I've been having a lot of issues with my son in school. He's 9 going on 20. Oh, I love kids. Last week, he was suspended for a day, and today again for doing dumb things and not controlling himself. I am at a loss for words and don't know what to do. I'm looking into books and trying to read and see. I'm really struggling. Sorry that this is not a relationship question, but I needed to talk to someone. I feel like I'm failing as a mom. This video was about relationships in general, so no te preocupes, amiga. I think what you have to do, and I'm sure you've already done this, is you probably have sat him down and asked him, like, why are you doing this? I can only imagine, like, if that was my son and he was getting in trouble at school, I would have to wonder why. And I feel like sometimes kids don't like to talk about certain things. Maybe there's something bothering him. And I think that because kids don't know how to express themselves the proper way, because they're not adults yet, then they're going to express themselves in a different way, a way that kids know, right? So they lash out. Just like you said, they do stupid things and it just doesn't make sense why he's doing it. It makes sense to him because in that moment, he decided to lash out by doing whatever he did. It's important for you to just tell him, you know, I'm here to support you. I'm here on your side, but I'm not on your side when you do these things at school and you get suspended. I'm raising a boy to be respectful, be responsible, smart, making good decisions, but you can't be acting like this. I think even though he's a kid, you have to remind him of what it's going to be like as an adult. You need to teach him responsibility now. Like, if he's suspended, I think there should be a consequence, but he needs to know that you can't act this way and absolutely nothing happens. Let's say he hit a kid at school. You need to understand what made him hit that kid. Did that kid say something that triggered something? Because that can be an issue too. Like, maybe that kid, you know, made fun of something on him or something like that. That may have triggered something and he doesn't like getting made fun of. So boom, he just lashed out, and instead of talking, he showed his anger by physically doing something. So I think it's important to talk to him and really find out. But I think when you're talking to him, you have to be very logical and very straight with him and be like, I need to know why you're doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that you can't come across as too soft because then he's going to take advantage of you. And I think you can't come across as that extremely angry mom. I think it might help you to understand why he might be acting like this. What are your thoughts on long distance relationships? Have you ever had a long distance one? I actually know of someone who had one, but I've never had a long distance relationship. For me personally, I don't think that would work out because I get very, you know, attached to that person and I like to do a lot of different things with that person. I don't think for me personally it would be enough. I think at some point you need to find a way to come together, whether you're going to him, he's coming to you, or you're seeing each other every once in a while. Because if you're thinking of settling down with this person, I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of have to be okay with compromising and figuring out a way to be together. The one that I know of, it's worked out. It's worked out very well. He came down to her, you know, you have to at some point, like someone has to come down or you guys have to meet in the middle, because at the end of the day, like, you can only, for me personally, my opinion is you can only have a relationship long distance for only so long. That showed me that it is possible to have long distance relationships, but at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of an agreement as to how you guys are going to come together in the end. You talked a bit in the last video about settling, and a lot more in this video. Can you talk a bit more on why you felt you would be settling if you had stayed in your last relationship? I just broke up with my boyfriend of 4 years, so I can relate. Although it was my decision, it was not easy. Love your videos, girl. Thank you. Like, he was constantly late. Like, that's just settling. Like, after a couple times, it's like, seriously, I would be so upset. But the thing is, is every time I would still go. Like, if that was me today, I'd be like, oh, you're an hour late, like again since last time? Okay, I'm not going out. And you don't have any explanation, like any real explanation why you're late? Okay, cool, I've made new plans. I'm already out to dinner right now. That's what you need to do, because clearly that person doesn't respect your time enough to be on time for you. You need to show them how much you respect yourself. You teach people how much you care about yourself, and how you treat yourself shows other people how they need to treat you. At some point, you need to open your eyes and be like, okay, this is really going on. Like, this is not right. Family-wise, I feel like he didn't have my back when it came to him and his family. I definitely got the vibe that they just did not like me. I wish that he would just stand up and be like, this is my woman. Get over it. The other thing I think I definitely settled for was him not being there. And I wanted him to come to a family function, and he said he would, and then on the day of, you don't hear from him. It's like, this is just unacceptable. I can't settle for bad communication. Like, you're with that person, you need to be able to talk. I was constantly there for him, but he wasn't there for me, so I was settling with that as well. What would you define as cheating? Okay, you guys might think I'm a little bit extra when it comes to this, but I don't really care, because I take cheating very seriously. Cheating can be emotional cheating, it can be physical cheating. If I was with someone and I knew that my boyfriend was talking to someone and they were like opening up to them about certain things, like deep things, I'd be like, you can talk to me about those things. To me, that's just emotional cheating. I do consider that cheating. Obviously, if he kisses her, it's definitely cheating. If he's talking to a girl behind your back, not telling you about it, cheating. I love your videos, and I'm so excited for this Q&A. I've been single for 2 years and still healing. My ex left me for someone else, which killed my confidence. I have gotten back into the gym and taking better care of myself. I met a guy through a friend, but I could not get the confidence to talk to him, or yet alone compliment him. All we did was shake hands, and that was all. He was gorgeous. Girl, I just felt like he was very out of my league. What are some tips you can suggest to kick me into confidence? I think that by you saying that he's out of your league, I think you're just thinking it from a very physical standpoint. You know, your self-confidence is like, oh my god, like he's too good looking for me. It matters what kind of person he is. I just don't want that to become an issue where you think that you're not like good looking enough for him. I don't like that, because I think you need to be self-confident before you might want to get involved with someone like him. Try not to start this relationship off from a shallow standpoint. Don't want it to be about the physical appearance. You want this to maybe be a future relationship with someone. I think that that's something that you need to fix about yourself before. I think you need to feel confident about yourself. You need to feel beautiful, because a confident, beautiful woman would be like, oh, he's a good looking guy. Well, I'm a beautiful girl too. I think that once you get that feeling, that's going to give you that boost of confidence to keep talking to him. So I've been on and off with my boyfriend of 4 years. He emotionally cheated, emotionally cheated, by texting a coworker about their feelings. When I caught him, he said he never did anything with her and that it was wrong of him to do that, but we are always arguing and feel like we're always about to break up. Would you forgive and move on? Can you ever trust someone like that? Girl, to me that just doesn't sit well with me, because I would not like the fact that my man is confiding in another woman. What I would do before giving up is I would ask him, like, why did you go to her and not me? To kind of understand it's wrong. By no means was it right for him to do that. Absolutely not. As a real man, he should have come to you and been like, you know what, I'm missing this, I need this from you, and this is why I feel like I need to go somewhere else for it. But I think that if you can't get a straight answer from him and he's like trying to run away from it, I don't think that he's trustworthy, because someone who's trustworthy is going to sit down and tell you the truth and be like, you know what, I'm really sorry and it's not going to happen again. Have you ever been in love? Also, have you dated Latinos, and what was your experience? If you asked me when I was in my relationship, like when it was fresh, even like around the breakup, I would have said, yeah, I loved him. I don't think it was true love, to be honest with you. I really don't. Was I like in love with him? No, because I think to be in love with someone, you have to really love the good and the bad of somebody, and I didn't like his bad. Like, I really did not like his bad. I'm the type of person, I will love your flaws and I will love the good things about you if I really love you. We all know that I'm definitely attracted to Latinos. They're definitely my type. I have dated Latinos before. My personal experience with them, was not the greatest experiences. I feel like they were just like all talk and like no action. That definitely doesn't make me like give up on dating Latinos because everybody's different. No. Hell no, girl. They're too cute to give up. One thing that I do like about them is I feel that they're a little bit more emotional over, you know, other guys. I feel like they just feel things differently. What's your best advice for meeting guys outside dating apps? Here's the thing, guys. I'm a homebody. I only go to the gym. I might step inside of Starbucks every once in a while. I might step into a movie theater every once in a while. I go out to eat. I don't think I'm the best person to give advice on how to meet guys outside. My like ideal way of how I think it's gonna happen is I think I'm gonna be in Starbucks and I'm gonna be in the lineup ordering my iced coffee. And I think like a guy's gonna walk in and he's just gonna like see me. It's gonna happen just like the movies, I promise you. He's just gonna see me and just magically be like, oh my god, that is the mother of my children. And that's just how it's gonna happen. That's the best advice I got. I think that if you are a social person, I think that it's good to be in a group of people, you know, go out, go to the movies or go out to dinner and stuff like that. Go to events where there's a ton of people around if you are that type of personality. Ask your friends if they know anybody. To be honest with you, I don't want to like give you a bad answer to this question because I don't think I'm the best person to give advice on how to meet guys. People have always told me that in the past, like, you need to go out more and you need to do this. I need to change my personality to meet somebody. No, it's going to happen the way it happens. I have heard of the most craziest things. I'm like, oh, where'd you meet him? I was just out one day. That's nice. Okay. Well, you met on the internet. Wow, you didn't even need to leave your bedside. Hey babes, that's basically it for this video. Thanks to all of you who sent in your questions. It was so much fun and it was actually pretty interesting, like just letting you guys know my story, and hopefully you guys can relate to it and hopefully it helps out with situations that you guys are going through. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. If you guys want to get notified for all my newest videos, please click the notification bell right next to the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you babes in my next video. Well, that wasn't too bad. I was debating about the engaged thing, but I was like, ah, what the hell. After telling that story, I am dehydrated. I'm 27 and I'm single. Get over it. We're gonna need some water for this video. I don't like talking about my relationships. This is making me break a sweat already. You know when like you're just having a day where it's just like not on your side? Today's just not on my side. It's not on my team. Who's got something going on for them now?